It's tough to respond to the video that I watched about God not healing amputees and being told that as a Christian that I have to make excuses for the 10 tough questions that any intelligent person would have trouble with as a Christian. I do apply my rational thinking. I do apply scientific thinking to my faith completely. All 10 questions are generally tough and challenging. I don't have to hide from them. I don't have to come up with some weak answer and then turn my brain off. Are there Christians that do that? I'm sure of it. I've probably come across enough. I have likely the same complaint, annoyance, aggravation, and criticism with Christians that don't face these challenging questions as an atheist has the same criticism, aggravation, and problem. So, in other words, we have that in common. However, as a Christian, I don't shy away from those questions. I do have thoughts on each one of them, and I do keep them in my mind and go over it, meditate, pray, consider, and study on these issues. So, to be told that Christians necessarily have to hide from these questions and go and cower, come up with odd excuses for God is not correct. I don't think it's absurd. I think it was a well thought out video, and I do think that it got a lot of good points and questions across. However, I do think it's incorrect in assuming you're incorrect to assume that you made some sort of grand slam, open and shut case with it because you didn't. And it was certainly incorrect that Christians don't grapple with these issues and have reasonable, intelligent, and rational thoughts and perspectives on them. And rather than go through each of the 10 and address it, I would rather just talk briefly about the actual question of the amputees and why wouldn't God or why doesn't God heal amputees. To suggest that God can't heal amputees is incorrect from a believing Christian point of view. It doesn't fall in line with God's word and our understanding of his power expressed in the Bible. Jesus raised people from the dead, so certainly restoring a limb would not be a problem. Do Christians ask for it? Very often. I think that it's our own limited thinking that often causes us not to ask for something so specific and fantastic and great as a restored limb. For some reason, I think we have considered it more permanent than like a hidden tumor or cancer that isn't as visible and seems easier for God to take care of. So that said, I feel compelled to make sure that I pray for that when I ask God to heal somebody. And I do believe it's likely and possible to happen. I do believe that healing generally happened biblically to show non-believers God's power and to show what was possible, to demonstrate his love in small, specific, individual ways with things that only God could do. So I would actually say it's a good time to push the church to start asking for these type of miracles and to be specific and bold in that request and to expect it. God is like, well, we are like God in that when we are encouraged, pushed, nagged, and wished upon by people that believe that we're here and real, we tend to act. So I have children, and when they want something and they ask, I tend to do it. And I tend to do things that I wouldn't have done if I wasn't asked and if those things weren't wanted. So I believe that I would use this video as a call to Christians to broaden the horizons of what we ask for. And in a large movement, as God's children start asking for these things to happen more often, to express the power and love of God across the board. As far as the other questions go, reply if you want me to devote a video to any one of those questions or all of them, and I'd be happy to. Any interest at all in what I believe you'll find a reasonable and rational perspective on these questions, if you have any interest in it at all, I'll be happy to take the time. Thank you, and God bless.